Hey, Jack, can you let me know? Yeah, we're not on right now, are we? Okay. If you want, as we lead into it, you could start with that weather impact slide. Do you have it readily accessible? If not, that's okay. All right, I think I'm getting reports. Oh yeah, Jack, I think we are on. All right, want to give you guys some live coverage. What's happened, what's going on right now? We've had some land spouts spinning up across central Indiana. Jack, when you have a second, could you take out programming? We've got some land spouts forming over eastern Indiana. Some of these showers that have been out here, especially some of the heavier downpours, have been able to produce quick, brief columns of some rotating air able to make its way to the ground. Looks like a tornado, kind of a separate class of tornadoes, not technically severe weather, but we do have some land spouts that have already caused damage, especially in Delaware County on the west side of Muncie. But first, before we take a look at some of the damage, I want to show you what's going on and where we got a potential land spout threat for the next couple of minutes. Here on the east side of Indianapolis, we'll go ahead and zoom in there for eastern Hancock County, headed into Henry County. We've been watching this downpour slowly move off towards the east, but sometimes on the southern fringes, we've noticed just the slightest touch of a little bit of rotation, especially on the east side of Pendleton, headed towards Sulphur Springs there on 36. This is something that we'll continue to watch as it moves eastbound. We also have a little bit of a rotation. It's hard to tell on these maps because there's not really apparent rotating storm with them, so it's very hard to detect. Generally, you kind of have to see with your own eyes. Of course, it's dark though, so it's very tough, but there are a couple indications here on some radar data that we've got coming in. They're just southeast of Fortville. Let's go ahead and zoom in for southern portions of Madison County. There's Fortville. We had a brief rotation there just for a moment, headed eastbound just south of town. It's about right in here. Yeah, are we able to take out programming, Jack, when you have a chance? You're good, and I think we are live right now and on our platforms. We've got a small rotation. You can't really see anything on this map, but we've got one that's kind of there on the southern end of Madison County, near the Fortville area, and northern Hancock County, so kind of right near the county line here. Moving eastbound, we've had a little bit of a land spout, but we had other land spouts earlier this evening in Delaware County, west side of Muncie. In fact, we've got some damage there near Kamek. This is west of Muncie. We had a rotation. That same rotation at times could have produced a brief land spout in Randolph County, Winchester area. That's something we were also watching coming in from Muncie. And it doesn't look like much. You don't have technically alerts really from the National Weather Service as in severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings because these storms aren't rotating. But because there's a big enough temperature difference between the ground and the clouds and the showers above, we've been able to produce these columns of air that have been able to condensate. So the clouds that are kind of stretching down that try to rotate. Kind of similar if you're at the beach, nice day, get a couple clouds and you can get a water spout. That temperature difference is what gets you. And we have a pretty decent front that's trying to push on through, giving us that temperature difference. And so some of these downpours have been known to be able to produce maybe a quick land spout. But we do have damage there in western Delaware County. Just coming in from the Emergency Management Center there in the Kamek area, we've got a report of, it looks like kind of some, those steel barns some folks had on the outside of a farm. Some of the steel structures, it looks like some of the roof may have been ripped off and some of the vehicles kind of moved around a little bit. Usually land spouts are brief and usually they don't get stronger than about equivalent of what would be an EF1 status or so. So usually they're kind of quick, EF0, EF1 type of damage possibly, and sometimes they don't do any damage at all, but they can look scary. But we do have some brief damage there on the west side of Muncie, Delaware County. That's right near the Yorktown area. So Yorktown, you guys have been getting some of that damage report coming in, and north to Kamek. So that's kind of in between 32 up to 332, so McGallier Road. That's up to the north. So kind of between McGallier Road and south to Yorktown. They're near Neb Road is where we've had some of that damage. So once again, I know we've got some crews on our news team also watching and trying to get some data too that's coming in from the National Weather Service. So I'm kind of doing a couple different things, but I just want you guys to let you know, west side of Muncie, there towards Yorktown, we have had some damage. It looked like that condensation cloud, that land spout, crossed over 69. They're close to Reed Station and went kind of near McGallier Road and headed eastbound towards Yorktown and towards the Muncie area. But right now, here's the tricky part. You can't really see things very much on radar. I kind of have off to the screen, off to the side, some very high resolution radar data. Hard to pick up on because the storms aren't rotating, but because the clouds are really saturated, guys, it is soaked out there. The dew points are pretty high. After some of these downpours, you can get a quick spin up, especially on some of the southern ends of some of these storms. So right now we still have what's called a special weather statement. You might have seen that pop on your phone there for northern Hancock County into western Henry County and northern Madison County, mainly thanks to this storm right here. Here, kind of in the parts of the middle to the south part, there actually may be two different land spouts that have formed, getting close to the Henry County line. So Newcastle, watch out for this storm as it's trying to get closer to you guys. Let's go ahead and zoom in. I know it just looks like rain, and for the majority of folks, this is just rain. In fact, I don't believe, I'll try to pop it up, see what we're kind of getting on a lightning standpoint. Doesn't look like it's quite on right now. Not really getting any lightning reports. And in fact, when I'm looking at some other radar data, I'm not getting any lightning either. So these are not necessarily strong storms, but they are producing land spouts, which if it kind of looks like a tornado, smells like a tornado, it's pretty close. Kind of has the same feature to it, except it doesn't have a storm above it feeding it with rotation. It's got clouds with it in order to make its way to the ground. But these land spouts are these brief rotating columns of air that can make contact with the ground at least briefly and cause a little bit of damage. But coming into the Newcastle area, we're watching this storm. It's moving roughly by about 20 miles per hour. It's not very fast. So let's time this out and we'll pause things for just a moment. We'll put this out to 20 miles per hour. Kind of get a rough timing. Let me add a couple more towns too and other parts of Newcastle. So you Trojans, look up for this cell. Let's try to get close to you guys. So Newcastle here at 9:19. So here in just about 25 minutes, we will be watching. There's almost two very small rotations that could potentially put a land spout down. There's one near Markville, and other a little bit farther south along I-70, kind of near the Knightstown exit, or just about to approach the Knightstown exit. So we're talking about here. These storms are slowly pushing eastbound. They're kind of near Spiceland. I know it doesn't show up very much. This is not what you normally would see with severe weather coverage. This kind of looks very different because we don't have the parent thunderstorm to really guide us, but just kind of embedded in some of this rain, we can see at least a couple things. But Newcastle, 9:19, Franklin, here close to 9:45, Hagerstown, Tigers, Western Wayne County, about 9:53. Let's put this thing back into motion. Once again, we're not necessarily tracking an individual tornado of sorts. What we're tracking is that inside some of these cells, we've got these little land spouts that are trying to form. And now they're really tough to see because it's dark. We had a couple pictures come in there for parts of Randolph County and then up north, Delaware County. So north of Newcastle to Muncie, there into the Yorktown exit, we saw some photos coming in over I-69. If you guys have any reports yourselves, pictures, or maybe damage reports, things you've seen, maybe family have called you, let us know what you've been able to pick up, and we're also confirming things right now with the National Weather Service. I'm looking with our internal kind of chat with them right now. Nothing to report from Hamilton County, but from Jay County earlier, it looks like we possibly had a brief touchdown there just outside of the Portland area. But we had a couple brief land spouts to the north for Randolph County and Delaware County. But now the cell is coming into Henry County. Let's zoom out just a little bit. We'll kind of get our bearings for a second. Let me put this into motion. So it's these cells that have been able to produce a quick land spout. The one that we had earlier is already almost completely dissipated, other than a couple light raindrops there into Ohio. But we're still watching these bigger cells. You can't produce it out of nothing. So some of these smaller cells you don't have to worry about, but a little bit of these bigger cells may produce enough of that temperature difference to produce a land spout, kind of similar to what a water spout would be near the beach, and those don't really produce up to more than EF1, rarely even EF2 damage, but they can occur really quick and they can really dissipate pretty quickly because the storm itself is not feeding it. But these cells may be able to quickly spawn a quick land spout for Hancock County and Western Henry County. Let's go ahead and zoom in. And I'm going to put what's something called storm relative velocity. So those normal colors kind of go away. There we go. All right. Just kind of looking off screen for a second because it doesn't really show up very easily. Right now, really not detecting very much. There could be something to watch near I-70 there as you're getting close to the Knightstown exit. Before you get to, so here's Knightstown. I know I'm kind of blocking it a little bit. There might be a tiny bit of rotation, something to kind of hint on. They're near I-70 coming towards the Knightstown exit. So keep that in mind, Knightstown. Keep a look west. Could be a little bit of a quick land spout. Farther northbound, doesn't look like much right now. I'm trying to see if there's any other reports. Not right now. But there is a special weather statement. So you might see that on your device. It's a way for the National Weather Service to not necessarily issue a severe warning, like a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning, but it's a way to say, hey, we've got something. And what we've had is a couple land spouts here the past now hour or so. But 7:30, we had it crossing I-69, western Delaware County, coming in towards parts of Muncie, but they're really close to Yorktown. But then just kind of looking offhand, we don't really have much indication, but if there would be something to kind of watch, it would be generally this cell in western Henry County. So we're talking, the kind of two areas would be to watch, would be closer to pockets of heavier rain. Would be kind of right in here for just north of Knightstown area. This would be the potential area to watch. And then possibly another area there east of Marklettville. So you're headed out of Pendleton, you're headed past kind of the Cadiz and Sulphur Springs. There's Sulphur Springs. Kind of coming up and down Marklettville is what we're watching for any kind of potential, if anything would create a land spout. These are tough, guys, because the storm itself is not going to what necessarily produces it from a rotation perspective, but it helps provide the temperature difference, and then the wind can kind of kick up on its own real quick briefly and cause that land spout. But they're up and down 38, just outside of, coming right through Marklettville. Route 38 is where we'd kind of watch, kind of now on the east side of Marklettville too. And so that comes right into the west side of Newcastle, kind of near the Walnut Ridge Campground, which is on the west side before you really get into kind of the northwest corner of Newcastle. So Trojans, this is something that we're watching. We don't have a tornado warning or anything like that. This is why we're also on our digital platforms, because we can kind of sit here and kind of work through things with you guys. But if we have any kind of confirmation of a tornado or a tornado warning from the National Weather Service, then we'll cut into the Kansas City Atlanta game that's going on right now on NBC. But here just on digital, you can sit tight with us as we're just kind of watching. When we're looking at normal rotation, I'll show you guys. There's nothing really to see. It's kind of messy. The storms themselves aren't rotating. It's just the cloud is so saturated it can get close to the ground, and closer to the ground where you have the temperature difference, it can cause itself to rotate on its own. And so the radar beam doesn't really have a great picture and idea closer to the ground like that. So when you're looking at the storms themselves, you don't really see much. Now briefly, if you looked, I can kind of show you what we saw, but I got to switch it to a different velocity. This is kind of more of a fine-tuned velocity here, storm relative, so it's tough to see, but let's go ahead and go back little bit earlier. This would be about 7:30. So even on here, you can't really see it very well, but you see this? This is our storm relative. So for a very brief instant, now granted, you kind of still see the greens and reds trying to touch here with our storm relative velocity, a little bit different than we normally have. Could have been a quick land spout there in northern parts of Madison County, kind of in between Alexandria and Anderson, but it's this one that eventually produced, where the radar's trying to pick up on it because it may get kind of the top edge of the land spout, and so this is what we're seeing there crossing I-69. The time right then was 7:28, just outside of Yorktown, headed into Kamek, and then dissipated closer to Muncie, because I don't, unless you guys have reports, let me know. Also, Jack, if Rob or Jenny or Marina have any updates that you want to share, just go ahead and put those in my ear if they've heard anything else. But generally, I've got most of my damage reports near Kamek. So that's just past, let's see. That's right there off McGilliard Road. McGilliard Road's about here. So in between McGilliard Road, south to 32. 32 is what will take you right through Yorktown, headed into Muncie. But if you want to head to I-69 and take that northern exit, you would take McGilliard Road, and that's generally where we saw that rotation, kind of close to the Muncie Elks. There's the golf club kind of in between about here, the Muncie Elks there, and off of Westview Boulevard coming into the west side of Muncie. That's where we had it earlier. This is not current. This is what we had earlier. Then over time, we may have seen it, but it's going to get harder to see. We had a possibly brief touchdown there in Randolph County toward Portland. But you're probably not going to see it here on radar. There's nothing to really see. So once again, these land spouts, they're shallow, but they can get to the ground and they can cause a little bit of damage with their rotation. We'll do a recap real quick, kind of set the scene again. Wide view, live Doppler 13. We're streaming right now with you guys because we've had multiple reports of land spouts. It's kind of a secondary class of tornadoes per se. It's a rotating column of air. That can cause damage. So similar to what a tornado would be, but it's not created the same. The storms are not big enough to necessarily create them. But what we're getting is kind of what you would see along the Gulf Coast or even Lake Michigan. You get these quick water spouts to form. What happens is you get a temperature difference. Briefly, cloud tries to reach the ground. It can rotate for a little bit, cause some brief damage, usually EF0 or EF1 type of damage if it was going to be rated. And then they completely dissipate. But when you're looking at the radar, it's very tough to see. But when we're looking closer, let me go ahead and zoom in. Generally, the bigger thunder showers, there's not even any lightning that I'm picking up on right now, so really not even a thunderstorm, but these heavier downpours could potentially create that temperature difference and cause a land spout to form, and that could briefly cause damage. Right now, the National Weather Service has let their special weather statement subside. But I just want to give you a heads up. Let me back up. The special weather statement is a way for the National Weather Service to say, hey, there's something out here. We got a land spout. I want you guys to know. But not issue a tornado warning because they're not really the same, although they can kind of do similar things. It's tough in meteorology. Also very tough to track because the radar beam looks closer to the storms, not always necessarily where that land spout would be rotating just close to the ground. In fact, sometimes you don't even see the whole column because just the ground is kind of rotating with some clouds real quick. You may not even see it connected. This time we did get pictures where it looked like a tornado, for sure. But that land spout, tornado looking thing, was Delaware County, possibly briefly in eastern Madison County as it was getting close to I-69, then crossed I-69, and possibly another touchdown with this land spout up towards Jay County and Randolph County. Something that we'll have to watch and see if we get any other reports of that. But Jay County to the north, counties right in here for Portland, Randolph County here. There could have been another brief one. So when we're tracking these, we're trying to figure out where they would be, generally look towards the bigger showers, the bigger downpours. But it's very hard to track. So we're watching this cell come into southern Madison County. They're right in Pendleton and Fortville. Got a good downpour for you guys. Looks like there could be... We do have a new thing trying to pop up. Let's see if I can pull it up. Your storm relative. I'm looking towards Shirley. Yeah, it's not going to pop up here, is it? I'm going to take you to Shirley, which is extreme western Henry County. Let's go ahead and do no labs. There we go. All right. Here we go. Current time, 9:09. Big downpour coming into Newcastle right now. Looks like there could be a brief rotation, brief land spout near the Shirley area. Once again, this isn't for sure because these things can be so brief. They could last for seconds and you may not even catch them on the radar, let alone the radar is not really built to capture land spouts per se because they're just so close to the ground, not as similar as a whole tornado connected really with the deep rotating thunderstorm. But right now near the Shirley area, so this is just out of Kennard, we're in extreme southwestern Henry County. There could be a possible, there's Shirley, see it popping up right here. We've got, I wouldn't be surprised if a new special weather statement came out just south of Shirley, coming near Grant City. We're just north of I-70. So this would be where you get into the Newcastle Spiceland exit. Let me draw it. Right in here is where we're possibly watching maybe a brief land spout. Very tough to kind of track. Let's go ahead and put a track though for 20 miles per hour. And let me switch it. Let's get a couple more towns up. All right, I'll step to the side. Grant City, you'd be next to kind of watch this potential land spout. Corwin, 950. New Lisbon. So now we're getting close to Wayne County. But New Lisbon there, 957, close to 10 o'clock. Something to watch. Here, right in southwestern Henry County. This would probably kind of skim, you see Newcastle here. If this could try to turn into a quick land spout, this would be generally south of Newcastle and probably generally south of the Hall of Fame. This would probably, you've got the Walmart here on the south side. You've got the Gilman Home Center. So Walmart's about here. So you guys know where the Walmart is for Newcastle. They're on the south side. In that area, we'd potentially watch a small potential for a land spout. Not to raise alarm, but this would be where you're looking. So we've got the Newcastle exit with the Flying J and the Loves up north on Route 3 coming in the south side of Newcastle near where the Walmart is. Potentially would be the rough area that we'd be watching this brief rotation. So Greensboro, you guys are about here. You guys north of the interstate and southwest of Newcastle. And Maple Valley, which is about, yeah, there's Maple Valley. Got Maple Valley in this area, north of I-70. So Maple Valley to Greensboro, south side of Newcastle, near the Walmart, would be where we're going to watch this potential rotation. Let's see if it's still kind of, it's so small, so small. I'll try to pop up what I'm seeing. I've got, let's see. I'm going to put the last couple scans in. I know it doesn't look like much at all, but it would be right in here. But right there, Shirley is right on the county line with Hancock County into Henry County. There may also be a new potential land spout to kind of watch to the north. Once again, you guys in southern Henry County, I wouldn't be surprised if a new special weather statement came out. There could be a brief land spout that tries to form here towards Greensboro and the south side of Newcastle. Let's take you back to radar, and we're going to head north into Randolph County near farmland. Clear this out. Go northbound. See this bigger cell right here? Here's Randolph County. Bigger thunder shower coming into farmland. They're kind of where we had that tornado that hit Winchester earlier this year. But moving directly west to east. Let's see. Right there along 32. So first you've got Selma, then Parker City and farmland, but kind of near farmland. Coming down 32, you see the curve, there's 32. There could possibly be a very brief land spout. Here's radar with velocity. Very tough to say. You could possibly look at a little bit of the brighter red on this one and see if it comes with a storm relative. All right, I'm going to pull back up some high resolution data. Very brief land spout potential kind of near Parker City, about here, and farmland. So Winchester, Randolph County, we're going to be looking. We had a possible touchdown maybe in Randolph County, but also there towards Jay County. A couple different reports are coming in right now. I'm looking up for any more updates from the National Weather Service. But Delaware County Emergency Management has confirmed some damage there to a kind of a metal barn, one of those steel barns, there near Kamek, west side of Muncie, before you get into town, kind of near Yorktown, somewhere near McGalliard Road as you're coming into the west side of Muncie and coming in kind of towards Ball State. But looking there towards, let's see, back to Randolph County, here we are. I'm going to turn normal radar because I know you're not really seeing anything with this. Just looking at some high resolution data off the side, there could be a small land spout potential there near Parker City and farmland. So just to time that out, also put a small tracker on it. I'm going to put closer to about maybe, looks like things have kind of slowed down a little bit too. About 16 miles per hour. Let's get some more town names up. All right, I step to the side. Winchester, 936. Harrisville, 955. South Salem, 1005. And Union City, about 1010. This is what we're just watching. Could be a quick land spout potential there in western Randolph County. All right, let's go back to kind of a wide view, clear things off. In these bigger thunder showers, we have seen a couple land spouts form, which if you're just tuning in, land spouts, kind of a different class of the tornado category. They're not technically tornadoes, but they are columns of rotating air that can cause damage. But they're formed differently. They're very hard to track, very hard to predict too. It's mainly due to a temperature difference, but it's hard to actually register what that temperature difference is between those clouds and the ground. But some of these bigger showers have been able to produce quick land spouts, similar to what a water spout would be along the coast. Those can quickly form with some showers that form close to the Gulf of Mexico coastline. Even Lake Michigan's been known to do some, and many of the Great Lakes, especially getting close to this time of year. We have a temperature difference between the water and the clouds, and they can briefly try to produce a water spout. And they're kind of random how they move. They kind of move with the shower a little bit, but they're not really directly connected with any kind of rotation of the cloud. So this column of cloud, it's pretty saturated because, guys, after with some of this rain, the humidity just skyrockets where you live, where the rain fell. And so that difference can cause that cloud that you see to reach the ground. It can quickly spin things up, usually not any stronger than EF0, sometimes close to EF1 type of damage. EF2 would be the max that we generally have seen. But what we're looking at are some of these bigger showers in eastern Indiana. Let's talk about a couple folks that are not in a threat right now. Indianapolis, you're good. We have a couple of these showers. They generally have to be a little bit bigger than this to do a land spout. But generally western Indiana, so from Brownsburg, Avon, Plainfield, Lebanon, Zionsville, Crawfordsville, Greencastle, Danville, even south and west towards Owen County, maybe you're headed towards Brazil, even Bloomington, south and west, Monroe County, you guys are good. North side, Hamilton County is now good. We had our share of that special weather statement where there could have been a brief land spout potential too. You guys are good. Boone County, you're good. Tipton County, you're good. Howard County, you're good. Clinton County, you're good. Tippecanoe County, you're good. We're really watching these cells right in here, leaving eastern Hancock County, coming into western portions of Henry County. Off to the side, I'm kind of looking at some more high-resolution data with Henry County. Guys, it's messy. I'll show you where briefly there could be any sort of potential. Doesn't mean there is. That's key here. Land spouts are super tough, you guys. But there could be a brief land spout potential coming right towards the Newcastle exit. There at the Flying J, the Loves, right there where you meet with the Spiceland and Newcastle exit. And then you're going to head up State Route 3 into Newcastle. But interstate and north, I think it's really on the north side of the interstate. Greensboro area, the Big Blue River, that comes right to Greensboro. That's about here. You can even kind of see a little bit of a water feature here on the map. But I'm looking at the rotation. It looks like it's kind of near right where the Big Blue River is, kind of south of Westwood Park. You guys on southwest side of Newcastle, you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a Westwood Golf Club, and you get a little outside and you hit the Westwood Park. Southwest side of Trojan territory there in Newcastle. We've got could be a land spout potential. That would be leaving Greensboro, headed towards the south side of Newcastle, near where you have some of that newer development. It was newer 10, 15 years ago, but more towards the Walmart. You've got Boar's Head there in the south side. As you're coming in on State Route 3, you got the Gilman Home Center on the right as you're coming into the south side of Newcastle. Walmart's on your left. The Steak and Shake's on your right. That area, the south side of Newcastle on State Route 3, coming in from the exit from the interstate, is roughly where there could be a small land spout potential. I'm looking also off-screen back towards Randolph County. We'll get to that one in just a moment. I'm going to draw this one out because I know it's tough to see. I know these aren't supercells. This doesn't look like severe weather coverage, guys. It's because it is, but it isn't. If you want to be super technical, we don't have severe weather. National Weather Service has not even declared anything as tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings, but land spout potential. Kind of like you guys have seen cold air funnels before. Like, oh my goodness, they're not really rotating. They kind of look like it. There may be a brief, wisp around it, but that's kind of it. Land spouts are when you can kind of get that cold air funnel, to just get closer to the ground or maybe even touch the ground. And if there's just enough little swirl to it, it can produce a little eddy in the atmosphere and even produce damage. So those are very hard to track from a severe weather standpoint. But here's Newcastle. Here's about the Walmart area. You got Steak and Shake. You got the Gilman Home Center on the south side. It'd be right about in here. Yeah. Right about in here is where we're watching, just south of the Westwood Park and south of the Westwood Golf Club. Kind of just outside of Greensboro. Headed eastbound. This is potentially where you would have a landspout formation. It's not even where the deepest reds are. I know it looks weird, but this is where generally it would be. Henry County, coming over. Now, past Henry County, we've got the airport, Henry County's airport here on the southeast side as you're headed towards the Williamsburg Pike exit. That's the other exit you can get to Newcastle. Maybe you're coming from Richmond or Centerville, Hagerstown. You might take the Williamsburg one in the backside of Newcastle. But you got the Newcastle, Henry County Municipal Airport just off of 103. You got the Flat Rock River there on the southeast side of Newcastle. That's generally kind of where this potential is going. It's moving directly west to east. So it'd get near Walmart, head towards the airport. Newcastle itself, I'm not seeing anything for you guys necessarily. I'm talking like downtown Newcastle, the high school. We're probably okay there at the Trojan Stadium. We're probably okay. It's this rotation that's there towards Greensboro, right in here. And that is coming in about 15 to 18 miles per hour from the west. So in the next 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, something that we'll be watching crossing State Route, or Route 3 there, coming south side of Newcastle. All right, also looking northbound, we're going to take you to Randolph County. Go north of Wayne County. All right. This one lines up a little bit better with some of the heavier rain. Let me pause. Keep it from moving. All right. You see this blob right here, kind of the northern end. When I'm looking at some high resolution radar data, there might be a very small landspout potential there in northwestern Randolph County. So this would be south of Ridgeville. Saratoga, you would be kind of next. That would be crossing you guys here within the next 10 minutes or so. Just something to kind of watch. There's not a tornado warning. And what probably is mostly happening is that if there's visual confirmation and emergency managers get a hold of it, or there's a special weather statement put out by the National Weather Service, we've had sirens issued across some of our counties. So until there's something visually connected, you may not hear the tornado sirens roar. What we're doing here is showing you small potential areas, not to scare you. Landspouts are usually small, they're brief, but they can do a little bit of damage. But we want to necessarily kind of give you a heads up, hey, this is the potential where it would be if it did form. This is why we're just on digital with you guys here, looking at some of these cells. But north end of some of the rain that you're seeing here is kind of where we would see it there before you get to US 27. So they're off 32. Actually, it'd be north of 32. It'd be up towards 28, actually. 28, Ridgeville, that comes right through Ridgeville. So in between, you got a lot of the county roads between 28 and 32. They're towards Stone. There's also, I believe just north of Farmland, there's the Hickory Hills Golf Club. That's in southwestern Randolph County. In kind of that area near Stone is where you would get maybe a small rotation trying to head towards 32, mainly staying north of Winchester. So we've got the Speedway on the west side. This would be north of town. Once you get past Union City Pike Road, they're on the north side, off 27, coming out of town. Once you get back into the fields, it's kind of what we're talking about. North side of Winchester, there could be a potential to watch for a quick landspout in northern Randolph County. So Saratoga, Union City, this would be something to watch. Winchester, downtown's probably fine, but there could be something to watch on the north side of town once you really get outside of town. I'm going to go back to a wide view, and we'll put back on a 15-minute loop. These bigger thunder showers that we're watching. So we've got 2 rotations that we're watching. Looks like the Newcastle one has maybe strengthened just a little bit, so we're going to get to that in a quick moment. But Randolph County, mainly north of Winchester, but generally the Winchester area between you guys and Saratoga and Ridgeville, between 32 and State Route 28, maybe a small potential for a landspout, okay? Once we get to Henry County, so Newcastle, we'll take you closer to the interstate again. Also, you do see other thunder showers out towards the west. I'm not seeing really any indications of these showers trying to produce anything, but it does look like there is that small potential still coming right over the Greensboro area and coming real close to the Walmart. Maybe just a stone's throw south of the Walmart. So here's Newcastle. Walmart's about here, and the Newcastle exit's about here. So you get north of the Flying J. You're coming up Route 3. Here's Newcastle. You can see all the lines and the roads into town. Walmart's about here with the Steak and Shake and Gilman Home Center. But it'd be kind of in this area where we're watching that rotation. I'll go ahead and stop the radar. I know it gets confusing sometimes. Sometimes it's nice to have the radar move so you can kind of see how things are evolving, but then when you kind of really zoom in, it's nice to pause for a quick second. Tough to see, but kind of near Greensboro, headed eastbound is the next thunder shower to watch. In the meantime, new update from the National Weather Service. They've called it a land spout, but they're also going to be calling it a tornado. They're going to call it both things because it basically produced a tornado-like thing. Meteorology gets kind of weird when you're getting into the weeds of things, but as a viewer, it can just, as a Hoosier to Hoosier thing, if it looks like a tornado, it smells like a tornado, kind of acts like a tornado, you can kind of call it a tornado. It's fine. Technically, it's a land spout, which usually are brief. So that's good. But we do have that damage there near Yorktown. Looks like the National Weather Service will be out there tomorrow in Delaware County, west side of Muncie, near Yorktown, close to McGalliard Road. They're going to look at that damage and possibly rate it. But what I'm looking at right now is this is just going off the cusp. EF0, EF1 type damage. We've had parts of a roof off of a metal barn taken off, so we're watching that. North in the J County, there is the potential of a quick touchdown earlier this evening, close to about, I think it was about 7:45, 7:50, something that we're watching up north. But right now, our main concern is Henry County and Randolph County. So let me zoom back out. Also kind of watching Wayne County, you guys. I want another scan to come in, but near, kind of on the back side of, you see this red blob right here? This is right over Hagerstown. Hagerstown's out a little bit west, but kind of the east side of Hagerstown, you kind of come up from 70 and then you go west into Hagerstown. So kind of at that intersection on the east side, you connect with I-70, the interstate. There could be something just to watch. And if there is something to watch, it'd be kind of more northern Wayne County, Webster, Fountain City. So this would be north of Richmond, north of Centerville. Centerville, you're fine. Cambridge City, you're fine right now. Richmond, you're fine. Milton, you're fine. Abington's fine too. And Hagerstown, you're kind of already past it. It's just on the east side of town, headed more towards Fountain City. It's something to watch. But the two slightly stronger indications are still Henry County and Randolph County. One would be northwestern Randolph County there, coming in towards Saratoga and Ridgeville. There could be something to watch here, kind of the northern end of this downpour, kind of the red blob right in here. It could be the smallest indication. I've just got a new scan in too, and it looks weaker now. So we'll watch that. But right now there is no special weather statement. There is no necessarily alert from the National Weather Service right now. But we just want to be with you guys because these land spouts can literally happen for a minute or two and go away. And they may even be in between radar scans because the radar scan comes in from, the dome there every 4 or 5 minutes, depending on the scan pattern that they have. So things can happen really briefly. And we're on digital, so we can just kind of chat with you guys for a little bit. But crazy evening, right? Started to get reports there from Delaware County with a possible tornado. When you're looking at the radar, it doesn't really look like anything. But these land spouts can quickly form with this temperature difference. You get this column of cloud to form, and it just kind of spins up a little bit there on the ground. real brief, and then it'll go away. But it looked like it might have had a couple different touchdowns with that land spout near 69, over 69, kind of near McGalliard Road. I believe this is McGalliard Road, kind of showing up on our maps. But it would be McGalliard Road, Kamek area. So Yorktown, west of Muncie, but Yorktown, McGalliard Road, west side of Muncie. That's where they're going to be looking. Back to Henry County, it looks like if there is anything to watch, it would be right over Route 3 right now. This would be from the exit, the Newcastle exit, right there on the south side, kind of the commercial district, right about in here where you have Walmart. So anywhere near Walmart, south side of Newcastle. Smallest type of indication that this would be something to watch. Maybe a quick land spout could form, and headed towards the Henry County Municipal Airport. That's on the southeast side. That's kind of out here south of Pearson Station in Corwin. This would be right about in here. But you're watching small potential there on the south side of Henry County, but north of the interstate. Crossing. They're on Route 3 on the south side of Newcastle right now. I know it does. In fact, kind of where the rotation is, you don't have as much of the heavy rain. It's kind of right in here, the southern end of this yellow appendage of heavier downpour indicating on the radar, but this kind of yellow blob right here, south end, kind of watching, just got to keep an eye on it as it moves eastbound. All right, zooming back out. The Randolph County one, it's tough. It's getting kind of washed out by the radar, but that would be something to just kind of watch, be a little bit more weather aware. Northern Randolph County, north of Winchester, more towards Saratoga and Ridgeville, kind of between Route 28 and 32. There in northern Randolph County, so north of Winchester. We'll keep an eye on that, but the only really indication that we kind of have of anything, and it's the latest scan just came in too, is kind of washing out the Newcastle one. Not saying there's no threat, but latest kind of scan coming in, and these scans aren't perfect either. They're not really meant to catch a quick land spout, but it would be kind of southern Henry County to watch. But it looks like it's kind of weakened a little bit too. So let's kind of do a quick reset. I'll let you know what we're tracking this evening. We've had some scattered showers and downpours, generally kind of in a good quarter of really deep of central Indiana. Anywhere from Greenwood, we've been getting some of those thunder showers, north to about Fishers and Noblesville. Once they get to the other side of Indianapolis, once they headed into Hancock County, Madison County, and Delaware County, some of these showers, which you still see out here towards 75, in Ohio right now, north of Sydney and north of Dayton. Those are some of the cells that we had earlier that produced a quick land spout western side of Delaware County. We're trying to get some more information. National Weather Service will be out to survey it tomorrow to take a look at some of the damage, and they are going ahead and calling it tornado damage. Land spout tornado, basically the same kind of thing, just built differently. And land spouts usually don't get very strong, but they can do some brief damage before they just completely dissipate. But we don't have any supercells. These storms aren't really rotating. Just the cloud got so close to the ground, kind of this cold air funnel, and could spin on its own with a big temperature difference, because some of us have gotten rain, some of us haven't. In fact, we had a big downpour there, in especially southern portions of Henry County earlier today. Newcastle, you kind of on the edge, but now we're all getting soaked in Henry County. But we've been watching there south of Newcastle for that potential and some of these bigger showers and downpours that have been pushing on through. But if you live around Indy, even Hancock County, so the donut, we like to call it the donut. Madison County, you've got Hancock County, you're out towards Shelby County, Johnson County, Morgan County, Hendricks County, Boone County, and Hamilton County. Then, of course, the middle of the donut, Marion County. We're fine. We've been just kind of watching out east. So the only counties that we really kind of looking at even anymore would be Randolph County, but even these are weakening. When I'm looking at my data, there really isn't anything to see anymore for Randolph County. It's It's really more Henry County, trying to move east, but even that one has started to dissipate. But we still have to watch where we have the bigger downpours, because you can still make those temperature differences. So we've got one that's sitting right over us in Knightstown. Knightstown, it's pouring for you guys. Up and down 40, headed towards Louisville, and then Cambridge City. The rain's going to be picking up for you guys, and then the rain will pick up even more for Centerville, and then eventually into Richmond. So when I'm looking at this, the little rotation that we kind of had near Walmart looks a lot weaker. But now looking closer to I-40 in Knightstown would be the next one to just potentially watch, this bigger downpour. Not saying there is something here, but just saying that if there is any land spout potential, it'd be kind of around the edge of one of these bigger showers. And a lot of times it's kind of been the south or eastern side of a bigger downpour. So for Knightstown, it would be kind of something to watch here on the southeast side of town. So Knightsville is interesting because you're right on the edge there with Rush County and Henry County. I think most of the town is in Henry County. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think most of you guys in Knightstown, I think the county line's right here. So most of it's Henry County, but kind of near the county line, so south side of town on the southern end, it would be something that we would watch, theoretically coming up, I believe, kind of near the creek there. The creek's there on the south side, you got a little bridge. I believe it's the Big Blue River that kind of wraps north towards Newcastle. So they're on the south side of Knightstown. The high school is kind of on the southwest side, so kind of if you're in line with the high school and going eastbound, hitting I-70 or just south of I-70, this would be a potential area to watch. And when I'm looking off camera, a new scan just came in. Could be a small potential. It now actually is probably a bigger potential there in Knightstown, south side, right along the county line, east of the high school. So headed eastbound, there in the southern end of Henry County and northern Rush County, we're watching any kind of potential for rotation. I'm also looking at the bigger downpour to the south. You guys, I'm not forget guys, more in Rush County. Go a little bit outside Knightstown, we've got Carthage. We're getting some heavy rain, especially on the south side. And then even west towards southern Hancock County, southeast of Greenfield, you got this cell. I'm not seeing really any indication with this one. But the bigger one, this is a little bit beefier. And it has a little bit of a sharper edge. You guys kind of see the edge between nothing to heavy rain. That sharp edge also helps create a little bit more of a temperature difference. So if there would be anything, it'd be kind of watching here on the south side of Knightstown, moving eastbound. So let's just go ahead and track it out. Roughly moving about 17. 17 is probably really good. I'm going to pop up a couple more towns here too. Let me go a little bit longer. I'm going to go over the next maybe 2 hours or so, maybe increase the speed just a touch. All right, we'll pop up a couple more folks here. Step to the side. So here so just to recap, the one that we had on the south side of Newcastle kind of fading. It looks like those temperature differences are kind of be washed out right now. But we have still a little bit of a temperature difference. They're near Knightstown. So that's right on the county line. Here's Knightstown. County line, Rush County, and Henry County. Here are some of those towns here off to the side. So Dublin, 1024. Lincoln, you guys in Cambridge City, 1030. Milton, 1033. Centerville Bulldogs, 11. And Richmond, their 1119, would be something to slowly watch, because this isn't really moving very quickly anymore. Anywhere between 15 to 20 miles per hour, Technically, that can make quite a big difference on some of these tracks. But so don't take this complete with gospel. But Wayne County here, within the hour, I would say really within like 45 minutes or so, 30 to 45 minutes, coming into western Wayne County, would be this next one to watch. But there could be a small, brief land spout potential right on the east side of Knightstown. Headed eastbound, kind of near 40, but coming outside of town. Route 3 that connects you with Newcastle, that we go right through Rushville, but where I-40 meets Route 3 on the east side of Knightstown, we're getting some rural parts here of southern Henry County. Beautiful drive though. They're on historic 40, National Road 40. Possibly a quick land spout potential there, southern Henry County. Louisville, you'd be next to watch. But here you still got about 10, 15 minutes or so. Let me pull up. New scan continues to hold it. That temperature difference and the very small potential right along the county line. Northern Rush County, southern Henry County. So this is north of, well north of Carthage. So here in northern Rush County, we got some good farmers out here, but there's not a lot here other than Highway 40 before you really get into Louisville and Dublin headed eastbound towards Wayne County. So some of these country roads moving eastbound out of Knightstown is where we'd be roughly kind of watching just to keep an eye on. There's Ogden there on the east side too, moving east. Spiceland, you guys are just north. So you guys are south of Interstate, Newcastle's north, but for the Newcastle Spiceland exit, if you were to get off the exit, but not go to Newcastle, go to Spiceland, go southbound, go past the Flying J, go past some of the gas stations there at the exit. As you're approaching Highway 40, it's a real quick drive. 40's not very far at this location. Kind of that's where we're watching. There where 40 meets Route 3. It's Washington Street, right kind of through Dunworth there. There along Highway 40. Kind of see where there's a little notch here in the road. State Route 3 takes you to Rushville, and where I-40 meet. So this continues to move eastbound, headed kind of near I-40. Headed towards Strawn, Dublin, Cambridge City, and then deeper into Wayne County would be something to watch. But it's not necessarily mean that it's going to hold either. I just wanted to kind of map out all the way to the state lines. You got to Richmond, you head towards Ohio. Looks like that rotation is completely, if there even is one. Guys, the radar is not the best way to kind of look at this, but it's really the only option we have. And I'm not necessarily even just looking at rotation, but I'm looking at temperature differences and reflectivity differences. And that would mostly indicate right on the county line with Rush County and Henry County that if there was to be any quick land spout, which is of course very tough to track in the first place, you got a new scan, would be east of Knightstown now. So Knightstown, probably fine. I'm looking at you guys in Rush County for this bigger cell. Doesn't look like we have too much of a temperature difference. We've got the reflectivity difference on the back side, but by then the air's kind of washed out. So we're looking at this cell, it's right in here. We hadn't have too much rain ahead of time. It rained a little bit, but you've got a pretty decent reflectivity difference here on the south side, where you have a little bit more open air compared to downpour. And so it would roughly, even the small potential would be there east of Knightstown, headed east, right along the southern edge of Henry County and northern Rush County. Wayne County would be the next ones up. After this though, let's see if there's any other update. Coming up tonight at 11, we're going to have some pictures. I wish I could show them. Sean Ash is really good at getting pictures up here really quick. But we'll have some pictures and we'll have some updates. I know Jenny, Marina, Melissa, our producer, Rob at the desk, they're all working really hard right now getting information. If you guys know anything, by the way, if you guys can hear me, let me know in my ear. Have Jack let me know. Any updates would be very helpful. But generally, potential touchdowns in Randolph County and Jay County, and then confirmed that we do have some tornado damage, some land spout tornado damage, same thing, kind of, there west of Muncie, Delaware County, New Yorktown. I'm getting a new update from, let's see, some damage there. There in Comic, the Station restaurant there, kind of outside Yorktown. There's been some roof damage, and some 6x6 posts have also been broken. Let's see. There's another building, it looks like kind of right next door. Another steel, metal barn, another metal building that may not be touched. I'm just kind of looking through some of this information with you guys, but there is a quick touchdown confirmed there in western Delaware County earlier. This was about 7:30, so 2 hours ago. But we'll get more information here soon on that. I don't have any information necessarily right now on injuries or deaths or anything like that, but it looks, of course, it's kind of major damage. If it's your steel structure, it's major damage, but it's not gone. It looks like it kind of probably caved on one side, part of the roof ripped off too. So we'll try to get you more of that information. But right now, my job is to kind of let you know about this temperature difference and this reflectivity difference there along the county line of Rush County and southern Henry County. I-40 moving east. Louisville, you would be next. So this rotation, I'll zoom in just a little bit more. Where'd my mouse go? There it is. All right. So zoom in. It would be roughly about in here. So in between Knightstown, we've already passed State Route 3. You go up north to Spiceland, eventually to Newcastle, or south to Rushville, depending on what you want to do. There's 40, Highway 40, National Road 40. Louisville would be kind of ones to next to watch. I don't have any other really rotations to see anywhere else across eastern Indiana. This is it. There could be a very small indication of a landspout potential. Highway 40, Louisville, and these things are slow moving. You're like, he's saying the same thing over and over again. Well, it's slow moving, and we're in rural country here. Growing up in Centerville, headed to Knightstown, you kind of hit individual little towns on the way. There's a lot of open farm field there in southern Henry County. Beautiful, but got some good farmers out here too. But not too many references here in the south side of Henry County, other than Highway 40 and just chugging along. Maybe even, all right, we got a new special weather statement. Let's see. So if Digital wants to know, new special weather statement, I wonder if I can pull this up too. I'm going to put, I don't think I can pull that up. All right, nonetheless, got a new special weather statement for southern Henry County, northern Rush County, comes right up to the county line with Wake County. So right in here, Dunrith, south of Spiceland, but Louisville, you'll be the ones next. This thing is coming into Louisville, in extreme southern Henry County, maybe even more on the south side of Louisville. So there's Highway 40, but then let's say a stone's throw or two south of Highway 40 is generally what we're looking at. So coming to Louisville, still about the same timing, 9:59, so here in about 5 minutes or so, we do have a special weather statement for the potential of a land spout. Maybe I can pull up the actual details and read it to you guys. All right, this is just coming straight from the National Weather Service. Doppler radar tracking a thunder shower capable of producing a land spout 14 miles west of Cambridge City. So we still got a ways to get to Cambridge City. They've estimated at 25 miles per hour. I may be able to speed up some of the times. But Cambridge City here within the next 30 minutes or so. Minor damage to outdoor objects will be possible. Gusty winds can knock down tree limbs or blow around unsecured objects. They're not issuing a tornado warning, but they're issuing a special weather statement. Land spout possible. You could have easily 40-mile-per-hour winds kind of whipping up here. And it's because we have that reflectivity difference, that temperature difference that's being created because of some of these thunder showers on the south side of Henry County. These aren't supercells, but we can still produce a land spout. Kind of like what we were saying earlier. If it kind of looks like a tornado and acts like a tornado, you can call it a tornado if you want. Meteorologically, we call it a land spout. We say that because land spouts are known to be brief, but they can still cause some quick damage really quick. And they can look scary. They can look like a tornado because it's kind of close to the same thing, but you don't have a thunderstorm supplying all the rotation and keeping it going. Very brief touchdowns could be possible. But here for southern Henry County, we have that land spout potential. This special weather statement goes for the next 35 minutes, up to 10:30. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this out just a little bit on the map, zoom out a little bit, just to kind of recap real quick before we dive right back in. Indy, you're fine. Folks around Indy, you're fine. This is really now southeastern Henry County, extreme northeastern Rush County. May even clip us in kind of that northern appendage that Fayette County has. This is going to be well north of Connorsville. Spartans, you don't have to worry about this. But that land spout potential is moving east, south of 70, kind of very close to Highway 40. Highway 40 coming right into Louisville, Cambridge City, the Golay Center, kind of headed in your guys' direction, about 14 miles away, probably about 12 or 13 miles per miles away by now. Centerville, you'd be next. Richmond, you'd be next. But everyone else, Muncie, you're fine. Delaware County, you're now fine. Yorktown, we have that touchdown. National Weather Service, they're going to observe it as tornado damage. That happens tomorrow. Jay County, you guys around Portland, possibly had a brief touchdown. I don't have as much information coming in from that from the National Weather Service right now. Randolph County, there could have been a brief touchdown too. But for now, it's this cell where you've got the sharp difference between nothing and a lot of red. They're on the southeast side. Right in here would be that land spout potential, and that's where we have the special weather statement. So let's zoom in. We're going to get hyper local here, guys. We are zooming deep into Wayne County and southeastern Henry County, and we're going to track this thing and try to get it out towards Ohio. But right there near Louisville is where that rotation is. Let me go ahead and kind of do a quick circle. So this thing is coming right into Louisville, potentially. It's also a little bit easier to see. Earlier at 7:30, you could see we had a lot of folks sending those photos of that Delaware County land spout. But it'd be right in about here. So if we track this out, I'm going to put what's called a time of arrival. Let's see. Let's do... I'm going to put it for about 22 miles per hour. I think 25 might be a little fast. This thing's not been moving very quickly. It's about 22. All right, let's get some town names up here. All right, I'll step to the side. Oh, my stand is kind of blocking you guys, sorry about that. Let's bring this over. I'm gonna put this here. So Bentonville, right on the edge of Fayette County. You can see it here. Southwestern Wayne County, 10:18. Here just about 18 minutes. We're just about to 10 o'clock. Dublin, 10:18 as well. Cambridge City, 1023, new updated timeline. Milton, 1024. East Germantown, 1028. Pennville, 1032. Pinhook, 1040. Then we get into Centerville, my hometown, 1049. And Abington, 1052. But this thing is moving very close to Highway 40, if not a couple stones throw just south of Highway 40, coming into Louisville next. So Knightstown, you can sleep fine. You may be still getting a little bit of rain. This is going to come right near Louisville, there, especially on the south side of town. So you got Main Street, so just a little bit south, maybe by about a mile or so. South right down, South County Road, 175, coming out of Louisville. They're crossing the Flat Rock River. They're near Louisville. But Louisville, you'd be the ones to watch next. After Louisville, we come into Strawn, down Highway 40. Next, we come into Dublin, and then Cambridge City. Looking at some high resolution data again. Still got that little notch there. I got that kind of where that circle still is. Right where you have that difference between almost dry, and pouring. That temperature difference that has not been worked over so much, that's where we have that rotation. I can maybe pop up this gets tough. So I'm looking at a couple other things off camera, really getting it deep on the radar. We can say the red and the green, but then you also have a lot of red and green here and here. So it's tough, but it's this red and green couplet. It's so weak, you guys, from a radar perspective. But this is what we're talking about. Looks like kind of right now, I mean, right over the county line. This black line right here, the one on the map, that's the county line, Henry County and Northern Rush County, tracking just south of National Road 40, Highway 40. Just outside of Louisville, moving eastbound is where you would see it. So if you're in Louisville, you look south. Not that you're going to see anything at this time. And there's really no lightning. Guys, I haven't picked up almost any lightning. These things are so weak from that perspective. These aren't really thunderstorms. They're downpours and showers, but these temperature differences are really getting us today. Normally there's not enough to do anything, but today we do. We've had such a big regime change. Guys, we're in the 90s, mid-90s a couple days ago, and now we're sitting in the 70s and 60s. Big difference. It's cooler air trying to come in, especially above us. But right in here is where we have the possibility of a land spout that could try to form at any time. Southern Henry County. Once again, we have that special weather statement right now. Moving east. I got another update, National Weather Service. Weak area of rotation, 10 miles south of Newcastle. So here's Newcastle. Newcastle, we're fine. North of the interstate, we're fine. Now, earlier, we had that potential coming close to Walmart. Newcastle, you're fine. Trojans, sleep well tonight. Other side of the interstate, even once you're heading on State Route 3, just coming out of Newcastle, past all the big gas stations there and the truck stops there. You got the Flying J, you got Love's. Get past that, you come to Spiceland. You guys are now okay. This thing is already hopping eastbound. Right along the county line, Henry County and Rush County. Here's Fayette County. Spartans, you're good. Northern Fayette County, though, really up there, just kind of near Bentonville. West of Bentonville. Bentonville's about here. So if you know any folks near Bentonville, that would be something to watch. But Connorsville, even when you head into Union County, there, Liberty and Brownsville, we're fine. It's this one that's moving directly west to east. I'll put it back to normal radar. I'm going to redraw it. Let's see my latest scan. All right. Let's get into this. Zoom in just a little bit more. You can see all the county roads now popping up. Our grid system we got. All right, so this would be, where's my mouse? So southern, just south side of Louisville. It's not really moving very quickly. Right in here. Now, something to watch. One reason we have is the temperature difference. That temperature difference is created by big difference from nothing to a lot of rain. You see where there's nothing on the radar, that kind of just gray color, map color? And you go from heavy rain, real quick. What we're noticing is here on the backside, you're starting to fill in the skies with more rainfall. And ahead of it, we're trying to fill in more heavy rain. This looks like it's starting to push south. You see this kind of appendage? Forget about the black circle for a second. That's where we have the potential land spout that could form at any time. But right in here, you have just heavy rain. It's had this slight tendency to push south. And what that could be doing is washing out the air a little bit. If that can continue to happen, you'll help kind of weaken that temperature difference. And so that would be a good sign to try to get this land spout potential out. But for now, we still have it. Highway 40 right here. Coming out of Louisville right now. Strawn, Dublin, Cambridge City. Milton, you would be on the lookout for this. So western Wayne County is where this potential land spout would try to move. You got Centerville behind me. Centerville, we're kind of looking. But so far, this is staying away from us now, but moving eastbound. So we'll watch you guys. Bulldogs will watch you guys. All right, Lincoln, Cambridge City. We would kind of watch, especially on the south side of town. So we're talking there, you get on, you got the Gole on the east side. You go south there on Center Street, South Center Street. Just go just outside some of the townhomes there. And you start coming out back to some cornfields and soybean fields. Just on that south side is coming where we'd be watching, headed into Milton. So you can connect with Milton. You can either go, I think the Gole is off of 1. See this black line right here? That's Route 1. Gole Center would be about here. Just trying to give you guys some landmarks, trying to remember all my landmarks from Cambridge City. Gole, head on 1 down to Milton is where we'd see it. Is where we'd not see it necessarily, but where we'd have that potential next. So this thing would be about in here, moving eastbound. Let me get the update from the radar. Still holding on to it, and it's still got that special weather statement there. I don't really see anything else on the radar for anyone else. It's just this guy right here. Oops. I gotta clear now. Coming right to where you got your triple point. You've got Fayette County, you've got Rush County, and you've got Henry County. Kind of where they meet, you go about, say, a mile west. That's where we have that rotation. Right in about there, where we're looking. So if we track that out, I'll make it a little big in case it tries to wobble a little bit. And let's add some of the towns now. Let's do, put it up. All right, Dublin, 1018, Bentonville, 1019, Mount Auburn, 1021, Cambridge City, 1024. This thing is just 15 to 20 minutes away from Lincoln. Milton, 1025, about the same story. Most likely, it would probably be trying to push near where you have in between Cambridge City and Milton. You got a couple fields there before you get right back into Milton on the south side of Cambridge City. Coming down Route 1, you go turn at the Gole, go south towards Milton. That stretch there between Cambridge City and Milton would generally be where I'd probably look the most. But coming right towards Cambridge City, Milton, once again, there's not a tornado on the ground. We don't have any confirmations right now of a land spout right now. Trying to get a couple more pictures. Just looking at the pictures from the Delaware County storm too. Some roof damage, but it looks like, I know we're trying to also get authorization from Delaware County to get all that kind of stuff. But just kind of visually describe it. Most of the building on the inside looks fine. But definitely some structural problems on the roof, kind of on one end, and part of the wall there, the metal side of the metal barn kind of caved in. Part of the roof there where it caved in also caved in too, there on one of the sides. But right now we keep our eye on the special weather statement that goes out for another 20 minutes for the potential of a land spout. New scan coming in, weakens it quite a bit. Still coming right there towards the northwest corner of Fayette County. Connorsville, you're fine. Rushville, you guys are good. We got some good rain just north of Rushville. Gosh, we need it right in town too. But that one doesn't have the land spout potential that we're necessarily tracking right now. But Louisville, now east of Louisville, there towards getting close to Dublin. Dublin, you're first, then Cambridge City and Milton. Cambridge City and Milton. Then we're looking farther down the line, Centerville 1051. I'll extend this out just a little bit more. We'll get you into Richmond 1108. Now by 1108, we will be in our newscast. And we'll have any more updates then. But I will say our Jenny Runovich, she's working right now to get all the details on damage reports and other reports coming in from eastern Indiana, Delaware County, Randolph, Jay counties, and then we'll see what happens with this one. Right on the edge of Henry, Fayette, and Rush County right now. Near Highway 40, or just barely south of Highway 40, chugging along. They're outside Louisville, only moving about 20 miles per hour. Imagine, you know, sometimes you take Highway 40 because you don't want to take the interstate, or maybe there's a big backup on the interstate and you're just taking Highway 40. You know, maybe you can get home faster that way. We do it all the time coming in from Indy. Well, imagine going on Highway 40 at 20 miles per hour. You wouldn't be going very fast. It's kind of like going through some of the downtowns, you know, Dublin and Cambridge City and Lincoln, and there towards Louisville. But then, of course, you get outside the town, you start to speed back up. Imagine staying 20 the whole time and never speeding back up. You'd be sitting there a while. Same thing with this. I know this kind of feels like it's drown out, but if you do not live in Wayne County, if you don't live in Henry County or Fayette County or Northern Rush County, I don't think you have any more concerns tonight. But that this final big shower that's pushing through would be the one to try to do something. We're pretty quiet back off towards south and west. And so far, the cell that's coming into Rush County, I know this blue box is kind of blocking it a little bit. The cell here, this downpour, so far has not really shown any signs of doing anything. We'll keep an eye on it. But generally, hopefully, this is our final downpour that has that potential to produce a land spout. We can sleep fine tonight. But coming down Highway 40, it's a slow one. But for the rest of you guys, you don't have to worry. You want to kind of keep up to date, of course, you can still stay with us. We'll be through here through the special weather statement. And Jack, let me know if Jenny, Melissa, Rob, Marina, any folks have any information that they want to pass along. We'll be happy to get that on here too. So we are, time right now, 10:12. So Dublin here in just about 6 minutes. We're watching for you guys. But once again, my scan is really weakened. Still got 20 minutes left of the special weather statement. Sometimes we've seen them weaken, and sometimes we've seen them try to beat back up for a quick second. So we'll watch. But kind of like what we talked about earlier, there's so much now more heavy rain on the ahead of it that it's getting kind of collapsing around itself. And that's a good thing for us. We've been talking about this temperature difference being the thing that helps spawn these land spouts. Same thing along the Gulf Coast. You get a temperature difference. The ocean's a certain temperature. The sand, the beach, the rest of the land, they're a certain temperature too. You get enough of a temperature difference, and a couple, showers that get a little bit bigger, you can sometimes create a water spout. In fact, this is the time of year that we do get water spouts along Lake Michigan. So if you want to see some water spouts, next front that passes through there is Porter County and Lake County, St. Joe County, and then north towards Michigan, of course. You're going to go all the way from Benton Harbor to Hope College there. And this would be the time of year to see them because you get a big difference. The water is warm. Well, we're still kind of warm and juicy here at the ground level. We've been working on our temperatures today. It felt cooler, but it felt kind of sticky because of the showers that have been out here. So it's warm and juicy down below. Upstairs, we've cooled off quite a bit. We've got a jet stream starting to come in. First jet stream we really had in a while to kind of cool things down. So this is one reason why we have a powerful front that's going to keep us in the 70s for this coming week. But regardless of all that, that temperature difference is what's helping cause these land spouts. And when you get a lot of heavy rain kind of washing everything out, get everything the same temperature, that reduces your land spout risk. All these land spouts that we've had have been on an edge of a thunder shower. And right now that is weakening. That edge, that temperature difference is weakening. See if there's any more updates from the National Weather Service. I'm not seeing anything offhand. Looking for you guys in Jay County. It's actually a different National Weather Service office. All right. Some of you guys might already have this. Hey, Jack, I don't know if Rob is listening, but I do have local storm report coming from the National Weather Service in northern Indiana. Jay County, 2 miles west of Portland, they're now reporting there was a tornado, land spout tornado. They're going to put tornado, it's a land spout, but if it causes damage, they call it a tornado. I know it's confusing, but generally, tornado damage. Roof damage to the Jay County Junior Senior High School. Tree damage also reported along at the school. And maybe some roof damage to the houses around the school as well. And that timing, about 7:50 this evening. Jay County, roof damage to the Jay County Junior Senior High School. And some of the trees and some of the houses may also have some damage. To what extent that damage is, we don't have those details right now. But we have been reported, and it's now from the National Weather Service. This is a local storm report, 2 miles west of Portland, damage to the school, Jay County Junior Senior High. Now back to this cell. Let me redraw a couple things, because things have already changed just a little bit. It's really weak because this whole rain cell is kind of washing everything out right now. It's not as crisp as we had earlier. Very kind of washed out right in here would be your land spout potential, but guys, it's looking really weak now, which is good. It's what we want to see. So if we can keep that trend going, we won't have to worry so much coming down the line for Lincoln, Cambridge City, Milton, headed east into Centerville and Richmond. The rain that we're getting right now in Centerville and Richmond and Abington, a little bit, it's actually helping us out, kind of levels the playing field, gets rid of that temperature difference, and that'll continue to help weaken this cell. So now when we're looking, earlier this was kind of raining out the north end, but we've had a couple new appendages here in Rush County to kind of watch. Just keep an eye on. Nothing that really to zoom in just yet, but this one's all washed out. Remember, we had a gap right in here with no rain, and so that kind of helped that temperature difference, and we're not getting that now. So this thing is showing signs of mainly just staying in some rainfall. National Weather Service may continue this for the next 12 minutes. They set it to 10:30. My hunch is that they're just going to leave it till 10:30 because it's just been one of those days, So there in western Wayne County would be next. So Centerville and Richmond. Centerville, 10:45-ish. Richmond would be about 11:15 or so. we would even see the backside. Now you're going to get some rain first. In fact, Centerville, the rain's just about to start pouring. Especially you guys on the west side, there towards East Germantown. We're getting a lot of rain right now coming in towards northeastern. Chester Boulevard, where you have the Meyer there meeting on the west side of Richmond, Belden. You got the Blue, the dog food there, the plant that's there on the east side. You got the Candle. We're getting heavy rain, but it's not necessarily just about heavy rain. It's about where you get these differences, and right now the main difference is back off towards the west. So 70, if you live near 70, you're going to be fine. This is more south and staying south of Highway 40 as it tries to move east. But folks northbound towards Warmglow, northeastern, you head north, eventually even all the way to Winchester. You guys are good. So Richmond itself, if you're on the north side of the interstate, even really north side of Highway 40. So you got downtown, you head north towards the depot. We'll see, but our chance is a little bit lower. All right, new scan coming in. Really kind of washing this stuff out. So that's good. So let's reset. All right, and then we'll do a last 30 minutes. We've had this cell kind of playing with us for southern Henry County and northern Rush County, northern Fayette County now, and headed into Wayne County. That's been our problem child for the past 30 minutes, 45 minutes or so. But Indy, we're looking good. Purdue, you're fine. IU's looking good. Columbus, Greenwood, Franklin, we're all looking good. Hopefully you got some rain today. We've got more rounds of rain to come. Especially Tuesday, we got a couple spotty showers south of Indy. We'll get into this on our 11 o'clock newscast, and I'll show you the 10-day forecast at 11. There we go. 10-day forecast. We only do it at 11 o'clock. Kind of show you the long-term trend of what's coming our way. But right now, we're kind of wrapping things up with Wayne County. They're coming right near Cambridge City. Newest scan just came in for me, and it's completely washed out now. So what I may do is wrap things up. We're going to get ready for our 11 o'clock newscast. Now, if something starts happening again, we'll hop right back on with you guys. We'll walk you through. But the only folks that would even remotely even watch out for the chance for a land spout would have to be where you're going to get the bigger thunderstorms. Not even bigger thunderstorms. There's no thunder. I had a professor who was very adamant. If there's no thunder, it's not a thunderstorm. You guys know what I mean. If there's a bigger cell, bigger downpour trying to come in through, these would be the only places. So we'd be looking more towards, Fayette, there towards Union County and Wayne County. And I'm just including Fayette County and Union County because we do have this cell. So far, it hasn't really done anything from a perspective of trying to produce a land spout, but it would be just because we have it, something that we'll just watch this evening. But there towards Wayne County is where we'll watch, especially southern Wayne County, more Centerville, south side of Richmond, out towards, Boston Airport, the Forest Hills Country Club there on the south side, Centerville on the south side, heading into Abington. That's where we would be kind of looking over the next 30 minutes before this thing gets into Ohio. So we'll wrap things up. Appreciate your time. And we'll have more updates tonight at 11. We'll have stuff from Jay County, stuff from Delaware County. Those are the main two we've heard. Randolph County, I'm only getting kind of whispers, not exactly quite sure, but Jay County and Delaware County, where we mostly have these reports coming in of quick land spouts touching down, causing tornado damage. So they're going to go technically listed as tornado as we wrap coverage here up. 7:30 for Delaware County, about 7:50 for Jay County. And Jay County is the one that did some damage to the roof at the junior, senior high school. Something that we'll watch going into Monday morning as kids head back from the weekend. And some of the roofs around Jay County, there in the Portland area, we'll be watching. We'll have some more updates. But we'll get the rest of the weather forecast ready. We've got more rain chances ahead that we'll have to track. We'll give you updated rainfall totals of what we're expecting in the next couple of days. We could use the rain, don't need the land spouts though. So we'll continue to watch that, and we'll have more updates here at 11. All right, make sure you keep it here, keep it local. As always, we'll keep you advised.
We came into the day on Sunday here in Connecticut.